Hello everyone and welcome to the TV6 Digital Desk live stream. My name is Molly Birch. I'll be taking you through a recap of today's headlines. This stream runs every night starting at 7 Central Time from Sunday to Thursday. Feel free to comment in the chat as you feel like it. I'll answer any questions you have as we go, and after the stream as well. I'll be hanging around here for a bit. Just keep an eye on those comment sections and try to answer any last-minute questions you may have. With all of that out of the way, let's take a look at our first story for tonight. The Michigan Department of Natural Resources is offering grant funding to reduce invasive species in Michigan. Michigan's Invasive Species Grant Program is now accepting proposals for this year's funding cycle. The grant program manager says the anticipated available funds are $3.6 million. They say invasive species can be damaging to the health and vitality of a community.
They can really produce a lot of harm, not only to native species, but potentially to structures and other ecosystem considerations. So it's really important to identify them early. We really focus on prevention, but then when we do have invasive species, of course, trying to manage them appropriately.
To learn more, go to uppermichigansource.com or the TV6 and Fox UP mobile news app. In continuing coverage, tomorrow, 2 brothers from Nigeria will be sentenced in Marquette Federal Court for their role in the sextortion scheme that caused the death of Marquette teen Jordan DeMay. It marks a monumental moment for the Justice Department, for law enforcement, and for all those who've worked tirelessly to track down those responsible for Jordan's death. And as TV6's Elizabeth Peterson reports, while the sentencing will provide a bit of closure, it's also sure to send a big message across the globe.
Everything has been overwhelming, and it feels like I live in this movie sometimes. Is this the reality of my life? You know, going from finding out what happened to Jordan and learning about what sextortion was, you're meeting with law enforcement and they're saying that these people did this to your child all the way in another country. It's hard to wrap my brain around sometimes. And everything happening so quickly with them getting here and being in court and then the pleas. I don't think I've had a moment to really sit and process everything.
For Jennifer, she finds comfort here at the water, a place Jordan loved.
He loved it here on the island, seeing the boats. I would always talk to him about the boats.
Nothing will ever bring Jordan back. But seeing the process unfold, finding those who took her son from her, working to protect other kids, it's her life now.
I never regret being public with it. I knew from the moment law enforcement told us what happened, the right thing to do was to share that with everybody. And it has turned into really a life-changing thing, even more for other people as well.
When Samuel and Samson Agoshi, who've pleaded guilty for their part in the sextortion ring, are sentenced, it will be justice for Jordan. But it will also be a moment with a big message to predators who continue to prey on our most vulnerable.
Jordan's case was the first Nigerian extradition in the history of the country. So it's a big deal. So our government's meeting with their government to strengthen that relationship because we want them to know, and the extortionists that are over there to know, that we have aircraft on the airfield gassed up and ready to go. So keep it up, and we're going to come for you. And that's the message that we're sending.
A message expected in court, in the action that continues in this investigation, and in the work being done through legislation, all aimed at protecting kids and holding those involved accountable, from the criminals themselves to tech companies. It's
kind of scary, it really is. There's a lot of things that are happening, and all the decisions that are made at these companies are monetary decisions, and they know about the impacts that it's having on youth specifically, and adults for that matter, but they're not making any changes because they're choosing the dollar over the children. Really is what they're doing, unfortunately.
It's change that will undoubtedly take time. The Kids Online Protection Act, a first step in legislative action, has overwhelmingly passed the U.S. Senate and is waiting to be taken to the House. Jordan D's law, a state initiative, has received support and is waiting to go to committee. Proposals aimed at increasing education programs in schools and creating new policies to better protect minors online.
That's kind of the second phase for me really is moving from the awareness part, which is important, over to the change part, and kind of squeezing those two things together, because we can't have one without the other. His life was meant to be something else, and that's something that we have to kind of keep inside, and it's hard because we feel it every day.
TV6's Elizabeth Peterson will be in Marquette Federal Court tomorrow as both Samuel and Samson Ogoshi are sentenced for their role in the sextortion scheme that led to Jordan DeMay's death. She'll have their sentences and reaction from Jordan's parents and law enforcement tomorrow. Moving on, Baraga, American Legion Post 444 members say they are making a difference in veterans' lives. The Post visited the DJ Jacobetti Home for Veterans and the Oscar G. Johnson VA Medical Center on Wednesday to donate $1,500 to each organization. The money comes from the American Legion's monthly pasty sale. The DJ Jacobetti Home for Veterans says the money will go back to the home's charitable support fund to enrich the lives of its veterans.
It can never be home, but we try to do the best we can to make it home. So stuff like this, donations like this make it happen, and we keep people entertained, and it's always appreciated by our veterans and the staff.
The American Legion is also hosting a fundraiser later this month for a biker who got into an accident in August. That'll be a spaghetti dinner on Saturday, September 28th at the Legion. And 2 new events in Negaunee give seniors a chance to learn about e-bikes and explore the history of Old Town. The Marquette chapter of Michigan Retired School Personnel is hosting the events September 18th. Seniors can join an e-bike demonstration at the Old Town Pavilion and take a ride on the Iron Ore Heritage Trail, or they can listen to a lecture on the history of Old Town at the Negaunee Senior Center.
We wanted to do something that was a little bit something for everyone, that they could be outside, learn about Old Town, and utilize the pavilion in Old Town Negaunee.
You can register for either event at 1:45 in the afternoon on September 18th. The event is free, but a $5 donation is encouraged. Finally tonight, Kentucky Fried Chicken is back in Iron River. The fast food restaurant closed after the previous owners of 30 years retired. The store opened today after a remodel today around 10 in the morning. Lucky Dining Director of Operations Aaron Humphrey says the business is committed to continuing to serve the Iron River community.
We're a small family-owned company as well, so I think for us that's very important. We're all hands-on in our restaurants, working with the people and working with the community, so to kind of pass that torch means a lot to us, and we're very excited for it.
The KFC already has almost 30 employees and could bring in an additional 10. Thank you all for joining me live here at the TV6 Digital Desk. That's all the stories we have for you this Wednesday. If you have a story idea that you think we should report on, feel free to contact us at any time. These are a few easy ways to get a hold of both myself and others in the newsroom. You can reach us via email, phone call, or you can find me on social media if that's how you would prefer to reach out to us. We would love to hear from you and what's happening in your community, if there are any story ideas that you think that should be brought to our attention. Thank you all again for joining me live at the TV6 Digital Desk. Have a great rest of your night.